Hi.
Hello.
We
Hey,
made
so I
it
was
back.
yawning.
I didn't know if you guys thought maybe we wouldn't make it. We didn't go anywhere. We just had a regular old week, but we made it.
We did. We made it through another week
Yeah, and it's April
together.
Fool's Day.
Psych.
So have
No,
fun with
it
that
is.
one. I don't know if you guys do any pranks or shit like that, but that's cool if you do, I guess.
Email us some pranks at startacult@gmail.com. We are starting a cult, by the way. That's
But how do you
That's Grant. I'm Jake.
how do you email a prank?
Email a prank to set up the premise, maybe a video, perhaps a painting of a prank.
That I don't understand. I don't understand what you mean by that.
All right, I'll try to look for some examples.
Yeah,
Or better yet, you guys send us some examples of that.
that could work. Give us an example of how you would send an email of a prank
Yeah,
without causing a horrible virus to my computer.
we're just gonna get a bunch of videos of Rick Roll.
I'm cool with that. I can get down on
Yeah,
that.
that's fine. That's a prank. It's a funny.
But
prank.
we are back with. I would have to argue and tell you this is going to be a much lighter topic than we covered last week.
I have like a half a page of notes. It's nothing.
Yeah, it's really just going to be us chit chatting, kind of going over some interesting things, and really just kind of conversing back and forth. So, it ties in to what happened last week. Okay,
Yeah.
so there'll be some crossover.
The words false and flag are all in there.
Yeah, there definitely will be some crossover. There's going to be it's going to be a nice little relaxing bite of an episode.
Little
okay?
bite, yeah, nibbling up.
Because I didn't even realize at the time until it was over. We really went farther than the average episode, I'd say, as far as time goes.
About 40 minutes, yeah.
Yeah, we usually. I don't know how a lot of people feel, but I feel like the hour mark is typically pretty good when it comes to a topic.
It's the most digestible.
Yeah, because
you know what I mean?
you can put it on, you can listen to it, you do your thing, maybe on your commute. I don't know. But when it starts getting into the crazy amounts of time, there's certain episodes that just simply require that.
Oh
you
yeah,
know?
we offered you a feast of false flag.
Yeah, that one last week, you couldn't really break that up, so it had to be a long sub sandwich episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, you guys are gonna be fine. You're gonna have a nice, relaxing, lazy river type episode today.
Yeah. Gonna realize some things about the government, what they did in the past, what they might do in the future. Who knows?
Yeah, what they have done or probably currently doing right now, to be completely honest with you.
Yeah, probably with Russia and all that. But
And then
who also makes an appearance in this story?
yeah. So I want to throw out one before we get into this. I feel like it fits in here before anywhere. This is just one little interesting tidbit about current events, and it ties into our show because it's a sort of a conspiracy theory. Okay.
Yeah.
So everybody at this point in time is aware of the events of the Oscars, right? The slap.
Slapping it up, yeah. Will sucks and is wrong for that.
So the slap, so some shit went down, whatever, blah, blah, blah. Interestingly enough, now the internet will tell you, if you Google this, the internet will tell you that you're wrong and probably an idiot for believing it. And I'm going to give you the reason why they say that. I don't know if you guys are aware of this, but a major silent sponsor of the Oscars is Pfizer, the medicine company.
Okay.
Okay. And I can't say I know many people that follow Pfizer news,
No.
But on Monday, they had announced that one of their medications passed the trial phase and will soon be going for FDA approval to be made, manufactured, and spread for everybody. And what do we think that drug is?
Probably something for COVID, right? Or
It is an
maybe-
alopecia drug.
Oh. Well, that's stupid.
But, you see the connection here. You see where I'm getting at?
Yeah, she's got alopecia. And,
That's the big topic. Everybody's talking about it. Fucking Will Smith's wife, Jada Pinkett. She's got alopecia. It causes baldness. This goes down. Alopecia awareness, I'm assuming, skyrockets because that's everybody. That's all they're talking about.
Yeah.
Hollywood meat is all over the news. Everybody's got every celebrity that's ever existed has an opinion on it.
Has
for
anyone,
some fucking reason, and who gives a shit what they have to say?
Yeah. Has anyone made this joke more like alopecia? Because who cares about that? You shouldn't hit people on stage.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Jake. I
don't think anyone's made that joke because it's not very good, but I
I
liked
didn't
it.
get it.
I like alopecia, like pisha, pisha. You know what I mean?
No, I don't.
You don't understand that.
No.
All right, I'm starting to think something's wrong with you.
I don't know what that is. Mitch, can you?
You know what? Have you ever heard the phrase pisha? Like pisha, like don't even worry about it.
Maybe.
He's bandwagoning with Grant. I'm being
No, I have no idea.
being forced out here.
I don't know. I can't say it's a bad joke because I just. I'll be honest with you.
You're not
That's a
quite
joke
on my
I'm not.
comedic level, Grant.
I'm not.
Okay.
I'm not.
I don't really even know what the argument is.
I see. Mitch is back there. He's
Thinks
just
there's an
joking.
argument going on.
But so alopecia awareness is going through the roof, right? Just a fun little, but it's completely unrelated to the episode today. I just thought the viewers should know this. But yeah, the day after the events of what happened at the Oscars, they're announcing that this drug is passing the trial phases and moving into the next thing. Now, when you try to look this up, they're going to tell you that, it's stupid, it's a coincidence. They've been making this drug for years. Absolutely. But is it not just a little strange that they happen to make that announcement at, like, the peak of probably alopecia Google searches?
No, it makes sense.
You know?
Yeah, they should probably do some, like, emotional, sort of drug.
Yeah.
For Mr. William.
It's just weird. Again, completely unrelated to the topic of the day, but I just thought it was a fun little thing that the fans of the show would probably enjoy if you didn't already know.
Not to that I say pshaw.
But yeah, there's some weirdness happening in the entire world, and all we seem to be doing is talking about two grown men, one grown man slapping another grown man, and let's face it, at the end of the day, who fucking cares?
Yeah, pshaw. In a way, this could be like a false flag sort of thing for Pfizer itself. Kind of ties in a little bit.
You know what? Just for the purposes of this episode, I'm going to go ahead and say that I got you. I get you.
You know what I'm
on your
saying?
side
Like,
here.
they caused this to happen. Maybe they... Who knows? I don't even know.
Yeah, it's like there's a grander reason behind a seemingly significant event.
Yeah, this event happened, and because of it, now a lot of people are going to be knowing about this alopecia drug.
Oh, yeah, that's sort of how
go.
this world works.
You know what I mean?
But yeah, so today we will be talking about Operation Northwoods.
Northwoods.
And we will also be kind of segueing that into just a generic false flag conversation.
Yeah.
And then from there, we'll kind of see where it goes. We'll see what happens.
We'll see where it goes. You want me to just do my page of notes? It's going to take literally like 3 minutes.
Yeah, you know what I think.
We'll just give like an overall view of what this is. All right, so Operation Northwoods. It was a false flag operation proposed to John F. Kennedy by the United States Department of Defense that, put simply, would involve CIA operatives staging as well as committing acts of terror against both the U.S. military and its citizens. All right, so to put more context to this operation was proposed in the same year as the Cuban Missile Crisis, which was 1962. However, this was proposed months before the Cuban Missile Crisis. So basically, this proposal was for actions to justify war with Cuba.
Yeah.
All right?
The idea was, to get involved with or get in a physical conflict with Cuba. But in order to do that, we'd have to make it look like Cuba started that fight.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't, they would just be like, we're the bad guys. But if they did something to us, it's like, okay, well, we have reasonable cause here.
No, yeah, we're batting the hornet's nest by first scraping our own knee. It's kind of like that. It was drafted by Joint Chiefs of Staff and signed by Chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, General Lyman Lemnitzer. All right. Before being sent to the Secretary of Defense, Operation Northwoods was a part of the Cuban Project, also known as Operation Mongoose, but never became active after its rejection from JFK.
Right.
So the operation was presented to JFK as a document titled Justification for U.S. Military Intervention in Cuba. Basically made up of a bunch of multiple top-secret memos outlining possible courses of action to provoke war. They included sinking Cuban refugee boats on the high seas, hijacking and downing planes, making them appear to have been shot down, blowing up a U.S. ship, and even setting off bombs in U.S. cities. All right, so that's how fucking wild communism made America. Fidel Castro came into power 1959. and he nationalized U.S. businesses, became all buddy-buddy with Russia, and 3 short years later, the U.S. is trying to attack themselves just to have a reason to invade him.
Yeah. Essentially, that's what's going on here. It makes sense, I guess, when you really try to sit down and think about it. We're scared. We're kind of lashing out. We're stress reacting. We're not thinking clearly. And the best way to do that is realistic. I mean, it's what no one wants to say. We just wanted to kill him. We just wanted to get him out of there.
Yeah.
And you can't really just go into a country for no good reason without even your allies being like, okay, hold on, this is like a problem. We got to do something about this.
Yeah. In the eyes of government at all, like around the world, false pretenses seem to be better than no pretenses at all for, starting a war.
Oh, absolutely. Because at least you have something to go back on and be like, see,
Did you look at that? Did you see that? Let's not look into it too much, but remember that.
Yeah. Makes sense.
That's pretty much all I got. I mean, like, the only reason it's public is because it became declassified in 1997, November 18th, by the John F. Kennedy Assassination Records Review Board. The section Annex to Appendix to Enclose A, specifically in this section of the document, is where it covers all the proposals to stage false flag terrorist acts. And I actually found part of it, but I don't know if we want to get into that quite yet.
Yeah, it is available. Parts of it are, I should say, not the whole thing.
Yeah, obviously not all of it.
But there certainly are parts of it. What I guess the overview here, it's a relatively short thing that happened. It was it never went to
it was
fruition.
just like they were just like, we could do this, and then he was like, no, we can't do that.
But this leads us into a few different tricky avenues, okay? Number one being the time in which this was denied and who it was denied by, okay? Obviously, John Fitzgerald Kennedy, JFK, he denied this. He said, no, we're not going to do this. Is wrong. Not going to happen. We're not pro this in any way, shape, or form.
He said, I don't wanna.
And very, very, very quickly after that, he was killed. And I mean, very quickly.
Yeah.
It's almost as if the plan began the day he said no.
It's true. And then, Johnson came in and a bullet hit the side of a ship and, okay, let's go to Vietnam. Mm-hmm. They're just looking for it.
Yeah, we're very interested in... We've always been interested in war. We're a very war-hungry country.
That's the only time our economy does well.
Well, that is true. I mean, think about it. We're a little bit... we're... Actually, soon enough, we'll be about, 250 years old?
Or so, yeah.
So we're a little bit under that as an established government. And we've been in, so many fucking wars in that time. And very, very few of them are actually justified as, something that probably needed to happen.
Yeah. Well, I'd say Pearl Harbor is a pretty good reason to enter the sphere there.
But see, that's something that we're going to come back to here in a minute.
Oh.
That is something we're going to come back to in a minute. Because
here, wait, Griff is FaceTiming me. You want me to answer it?
No, absolutely not.
No?
Nope.
You don't think so?
Send a voicemail.
It's because I was texting him.
Oh, Mitch is texting. He's causing this to happen. All right, go on then.
It's just like, oh, okay. So it's just, I don't know why I thought that was so funny.
What's up, Griff? You're on the show.
No, voicemail. You're on the voicemail box. That's what's happening.
What's up? Oh, he's leaving.
He's leaving. He left.
He can't figure.
Bye. That was a nice little, nice little hello.
He got shy.
Didn't even actually say hello, I don't think.
He got embarrassed. Okay. I think it was breaking up a lot.
But so JFK was killed very quickly after Operation Northwoods was dissolved or believed to be dissolved.
Yeah, because it was that, and then the missile crisis happened, and then he didn't send us into war because of that either, and they were all just probably like, oh god,
yeah,
this guy's a pansy.
He's really becoming an enemy of the power, if that's a thing at all. I guess.
Power, capital T, capital
yeah, just
P.
In general, the power. So we got this. And this is the first documented proof we have of something like this happening. So essentially, when we're talking a false flag, it can come in many different ways. And in this instance, it's purposefully generated to create interest in something. So the belief for them was that if we did this, we could really, really sway the American people into doing something in Cuba.
Yeah, they'd have national support.
And with that, I mean, you can get whatever you want. You can go in, you could usurp the government, you could do pretty much whatever you decided you wanted to do. But it also comes in other ways. Now, the other way that this can come is Pearl Harbor, right? That's what we're talking about, Pearl Harbor here?
Yeah, Pearl Harbor.
So Pearl Harbor, it's very common knowledge, I'd say now, that we were very aware of what was going to happen.
We were aware at least a few hours previous to the actual thing taking place.
Yeah, we were aware.
And there was no communication about it.
We were aware. And now I understand this is a different scenario, but this is sort of the creation of the false flag. Because we're made aware of what's going to happen. We intercepted the telegram, and we were like, okay, we know something's going to happen at Pearl Harbor. We might not have known the vivid detail of what was to come.
Maybe they didn't want to wake up all those soldiers, let them sleep.
That's true. You never
Maybe
know,
it was that.
Bad excuse, but it could work.
It could work.
But we intercepted this data. We knew it was coming, and we let it happen. Why? Because as soon as Pearl Harbor happened, it gave us a valid reason to get involved in World War II physically.
Yeah, I guess the only difference there is we didn't necessarily cause it to happen. It was going to happen, and
Right,
we just didn't do anything to stop it. It's kind of like 9/11.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We sort of just like, okay.
It's like, let's wait a sec. Let's just take some time here.
And again, it's interesting because the government wanted to get involved in World War II. I mean, I know that there's people that will disagree with that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we want to be the heroes of the world. We're the police,
But
we
were funding, we were giving weapons, we were giving fuel, we were doing things to fund the, I always get not the bad guys, like the Allies, the Axis and the something else.
And the evil.
Whatever.
I don't know.
I don't think that's true. But we were funding weapons and shit. We were funneling shit in so that they could have it.
Yeah.
And the people, we just didn't want to go because it was too soon after World War I. That had caused so much decimation and just problems.
Yeah.
People were tired of it. So this really swayed that because immediately it was like, well, we have to do something. We can't just back down. So, and in theory, like Jake said, the world police, that was a result of World War II, which is probably part of the reason we wanted to join.
Yeah, it's like it's kind of like the Rudy moment. It's like, all right, this is our chance. And even though it I don't know, I guess it kind of worked because we dropped those bombs, but we were just like, yeah, let's keep this going afterward.
Yeah, we were able to show what we were capable of with World War II. So we were interested in that. Now, this is interesting as well because Jake, you said 9/11. You compared Pearl Harbor to 9/11.
Yeah, it's true. Cheney knew that something was going down, and he was just like, all right, I'm taking the reins. Let's go sit in a room.
Well, here's the thing. Now, I don't know if you guys want to get into the nitty-gritty of that, but we probably knew about 9/11 about 3 years before it happened. And knowing about it might be too kind of a word because we may have actually planned it.
Oh, really? This is new information to me.
Yeah, I mean, I think we actually, I think I might have brought this up in our 9/11 episode, which...
That was so long ago. Go listen to that.
It's
I'll
somewhere...
probably listen to that tonight. I don't remember what I said.
It's somewhere in the archives.
I know the gist.
But the Project for the New American Century was a think tank article published for just essentially the new world, the new century, the dawn of 2000,
Yeah,
right?
something for us all to think on.
And within there is a direct quote, and I'm going to quote it right now. Okay, you ready?
Okay.
Start the quote. Quote.
Now.
Quote. To start a new war, as far as we can attest, you would need a new Pearl Harbor. End quote. That was in 1998.
Oh, all right.
So to get they said in the Projects for the New American Century that in order for America to get involved in a war or start a war, we would need some type of Pearl Harbor-esque event.
Okay.
And these files were available in the Pentagon.
Okay.
So, I'm not necessarily condoning one way or the other. I know this 9/11 is not the episode today.
No, that was a while ago.
But it's a little coincidental that this happens, and then very, very shortly after, once we get the new regime in power, we have a new Pearl Harbor. Almost immediately.
I'm not like giving these people the benefit of the doubt, but like, would we really go so far as to say that we planned it rather than like in the time we realized the chance that we had for another one and we just let it happen then? Like, I don't think they put it into motion 3 years prior.
No. I don't. I don't.
So
agree with that.
based on that thing 3 years prior, yeah, okay. So like, they're keeping their word in that sense.
No, exactly. I don't think it. I'm not saying that like we paid them to do it or like orchestrated it in that type of way, but I think it's very certain that, at least to me, that we had some knowledge. Possibly, I mean, I don't know the details of that. May or may not have maybe egged them on to a certain point, and like, yeah, come on, what are you doing?
It's like we have
bitch.
to do something big.
And once we knew or had an idea that something was going to happen, it was sort of like, well, we're going to take our hands off the wheel here and just kind of whatever happens, and we'll react to it. I mean, we'll deal with it,
Yeah. We got the president reading a book, and it's a kid's perfect. He's out of the house. We can do whatever we want. Let's let 9/11 happen.
Those are some of the bigger 9/11 well, obviously Pearl Harbor doesn't qualify because it's a little bit different, especially at that time.
Oh, it's just in the middle of the ocean.
But 9/11, I would say, in my opinion, now there's no way to prove this, 9/11 was at least intentionally a false flag operation for us to invade the Middle East.
Yeah.
I don't not saying that it was planned or the government, paid people to do it. I don't necessarily believe that, but we definitely used it, altered it, and projected out what we wanted to come from it, and we got what we wanted.
Yeah, it was planned in the sense that as it was in motion, we did nothing.
Exactly.
So it's not like we were aware of it and we're like, let's help these guys. You need any money? You need any money for that flight school? Like that, It wasn't that, but it was like, all right, God, it's happening. Wait, this could be good for us.
And now this kind of moves us into the more current day, where we'll come back to Vegas, in a few minutes here.
Yeah.
But this comes into the new dawn of the American problem, okay? And that would be the mass shooting. All right, everybody knows that's a problem. It's an international joke.
I mean, it's not a positive thing.
Ha ha! America has mass shootings. That's the
Everyone's laughing at it.
We get razzed on. We get razzed on the internet.
Razzing you good. We're getting lampooned.
But this has led a lot of people to think that mass shootings, especially from about, I'd probably say, the year 2010 to like 2017, somewhere in there, that a good chunk of them were false flag operations. Okay,
that's what a lot of people may think. Yes,
and there's a little bit of weird evidence. I'm not saying that it's true or false. It's something that I've been looking into, trying to kind of compile into a larger episode, and it's there's just not enough meat there, But I know a lot of people go into the crisis actor thing. That's like a big thing for them.
Yeah, Alex Jones got ran through the ringer for saying that about Sandy Hook.
Well, yeah, but he took it a step too far.
He really did. He was
like, the parents are paid money to grieve the death of their fake children. It's like, okay.
It's like, okay, dude, you can't say that.
Yeah,
like,
even if you think that, maybe just like hold that one, just bite your tongue a minute.
He has a tendency to go a bit beyond what he should.
But either way, I mean, that's what he thought, whatever. I don't think that. But I'm not necessarily saying that I think that they are planned, but I think that they happen. And to me, the best example, I always forget, because, well, you hate to say it, there's so many of them, you kind of forget.
No, they all blend together.
But there was one that it came after, like Sandy Hook, I believe it was after the Parkland. Parkland was the school, right? It came after, or was it Parkland? I don't know.
I don't know.
Anyway,
was it the Joker Theater one? I don't know.
no. The shooter
What shooter?
turned himself into the police previous to the shooting.
That was Parkland, Mitch says.
Corroboration here. It's Parkland. He called the police on himself multiple times and said, like, I feel like I'm gonna kill a lot of people. Pretty much, like, I don't know, I have a verbatim fucking thing what he said.
And they said, "Oh, go to bed.
Pretty
Stop
much,
calling.
and they sort of ignored it. I mean, not sort of, they did ignore it.
It's over between you and I."
It stopped calling. But
Stop calling.
the interesting thing about that is you ask yourself, why would anybody allow something like that to happen, right?
Yeah, no, it does boggle the mind a bit.
Well, when you really put it into perspective, it makes sense, and this is where it's going to sort of tie into Vegas here, is that in order for what X to happen, we need Y to happen, correct?
That's false flag, yeah.
That's the whole basis of this episode. It's a simple equation.
Yeah, Operation Northwoods, if you couldn't tell by now, is just kind of a jumping off point. This is like a hard facts, like we have documentation saying that the government tried to do this,
Yeah,
and from there we're talking about all this shit.
exactly. So it's sort of the breadcrumbs that lead us to the larger pool of theories.
Yeah.
Because we know it's substantial, it's real, we could prove it. A lot of people in this world, and I mean the world of like conspiracy stuff like that, it's very common knowledge to that.
Yeah.
But like I was saying, in order, just like the Project for the New American Century said, in order to get X, you need to have Y. So with these shootings, Parkland, a good one. It's a very
A good one.
Yeah,
I don't know
out
if
of
I'd describe it that way.
out of context. That's a really bad way to say that.
An effective one. How about that?
But it really encompasses everything you need for X to happen, because it involves the innocent children, it involves a sick, twisted, deranged person, and guns. So this opens the door for the talks of guns and gun laws, strictening or tightening up those.
It's perfect for the sentence. We have to get these wild, crazy people with guns away from our kids.
We got to get these
You know?
motherfucking guns out of these motherfucking schools.
There
all
we
right?
go. Yeah.
That's essentially what Parkland taught us. That was like the big ding 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 ding. That was like the one that really. Don't get me wrong. The other ones were huge, like horrible stories, news coverage, and everything. But like,
I think by this point it's kind of understood we're not diminishing any shootings.
yeah, I'd hope that
Like, that fucking sucks.
I'd hope that the listeners like understand that I'm not like condoning this in any way.
No, we're not like, yes, more. No, we don't want that.
No. I'm just saying that in a large scale game of chess on the government level, this is the perfect move. Because if this is what your end game is, if you want to get people riled up, even if it's not about guns, I think that might be a little naive. I think a lot of it has to do with safety in general, just as a topic. The idea of being safe is sort of, they're taking that away a little bit.
Well, it's like the idea that anywhere is safe is just a facade. Like,
Exactly.
there's no safe place.
Exactly.
Safety is an illusion.
And I think that's some of the bigger things that, if this is a false flag, these are some of the things that they're trying to shine the light on, is that
Which one are we referring to now? The Parkland?
Parkland still.
Okay.
I'll transition here in a moment. But Parkland has something that, weirdly enough, Sandy Hook has as well. And so does the nightclub shooting in Orlando.
Yeah.
Okay? And that would be odd connections and pictures that have people at all three events. And it very easily could be coincidence. You never know.
It could be coincidence.
But it raised a lot of questions as to not the legitimacy of the situation, because we knew it was real. I mean, it physically happened.
But like the motives to follow it and like who's involved with why are those people there? Giving
Exactly.
statements to the news. It's like they don't necessarily have connections to the tragedies. They're just present when they're around.
Right.
You know?
So this also moves into are these the individuals that they want representing their cause? Because clearly they're involved. Maybe they, have the right words to say. Maybe they have the right face for camera.
I don't know if they necessarily say that they're involved as opposed to... When you say involved, when you talk about a shooting, it's like they're involved in the shooting.
Well, yeah, I mean,
so
like
it's like involved in, like,
you know?
yeah, okay.
That, like,
in the
yeah,
reaction aspect
you're
of
involved in the crowd that's, like, part of the situation.
Yeah. This is eggshells here, This is eggshell territory.
Nah, fuck the eggshells. We're going in. We're jumping. I'm rolling.
Why are they always there?
Wait, what?
You just said, why are they always there?
Oh, that's essentially the question. Is that
why are they always there?
It's weird, and I don't really have an opinion on those. I'm not gonna lie, like the idea of the crisis actors. I do think that that's a media tactic that really can work, especially not necessarily even for shootings, but just think of like natural disasters, things where you need a visceral human reaction. It's got to be pretty. Because you can't have...
It's got to be like the Hollywood version of like, oh, I've just gone through a tragedy. Because everyone deals with tragedy differently. Some people are just stoic. Some people laugh. Some people,
Like, how hard is it? Picture, like a school shooting. How hard would it be? It would be against human nature to pull a grieving mother or father or brother or sister or grandparent from the crowd, literally grieving over the death of their child in a school, and shove a camera in their face and be like, tell me what you feel like, you know?
That journalist would be put to death in my mind.
Exactly. So it's like, in a way, I understand the reasoning. It's not necessarily a good thing to have people on board to do these things, but I could see why they'd want to. You know what I mean?
So it can be covered in the news more thoroughly and
Yeah,
for a more extended period of time. There's more people saying things about it. That just leaves it in the news cycle, so it's just everything that anyone is seeing.
and you get the sound bites. That's a big one too. You get the little snippets, little snippets.
Little snippets are on the rise.
But connecting all of this back to Vegas, which was last week's episode. If you haven't listened to it, you should, for the purpose of this episode, because it'll make this one make a little bit more sense.
And again, Operation Northwoods has confirmed that false flags are a thing that are in practice.
Oh, absolutely. So,
or they wanted to make it practice. But still, it was a legitimate document.
this is sort of the meat and potatoes of what we talked about last week with the unanswerable question of this. Was it intentional? Was it fake? And why did it happen?
And
Regardless
who was
of what you believe.
Yeah, who was it intentional by?
Exactly. So, when we piece together the information we got from Operation Northwoods, the fact that it was a covert operation that would have essentially brought in surgical attacks in pre-designated locations in order to turn the American favor in one particular direction.
Yeah.
Does Vegas mirror any similarities? The only similarity that it doesn't mirror is an outcome. And like we said last week, I think that is because it was botched.
Very much so. Yeah.
If it wasn't botched, I think that this really would have changed something, whether it be laws, regulations, or just the outright call to ban firearms.
Yeah, because a lot of the people that were covered in the news about Las Vegas, obviously not, like, they were in the crowd.
Yeah.
Like, there are people that were actually there. Like, no crisis actors, at least as of now, that were detected. So there's a shorter news cycle. It's probably on purpose because they probably didn't want people looking into it. You've listened to the episode, right?
Yeah, you should
like,
know
come
by
on.
now.
Like, there's a shit ton of stuff where if anyone asks any questions about it or looks in deeper, it's just gonna explode.
Oh, yeah.
The whole situation. No one's gonna trust anybody. Anarchy. It's gonna be insane.
Now, this raises the question of if it were to go off successfully, if these things were to happen with no questions asked, no weird things going on, no loose ends to tie up, would there be some type of endgame push for something, reform in some way, shape, or another? this is why I believe, personally, I believe the Las Vegas attacks, knowing what we know now, were an attempt at a false flag operation.
Yeah.
Something that could be done to sway the opinions of the public, scare them into a decision that maybe they don't even necessarily think through just because they're reacting from something that just occurred.
Yeah. And instead, we just got a bunch of 60 people dead and about 850 people with medical bills.
Yeah, pretty much.
And no change, really.
Yeah, nothing really happened. I mean, Vegas opened like the next day, so.
Yeah. Well, like you said, they had their hour of no power in solidarity or so. Whatever.
Yeah, everybody just like hangs out
So
for like
let's just turn it off.
58 minutes.
They still got booze, and you know what? Machines aren't the only thing at Vegas. You can probably do poker by candlelight.
Yeah, you can probably do anything. I'm sure there's back alley poker games going on somewhere in the strip. You
Oh,
know?
of course.
Absolutely. But you said you have some more. You have some Northwoods in.
Well, it's just kind of like
sight?
it's like a. Well, for one, it looks like there's a lot of pages missing from this document.
Oh yeah, and
Because
even the
it-
shit that's there is half redacted.
Yeah,
so.
yeah. But here, there's some things, just some possible things that they were presenting to JFK to possibly do to start this war, right? Blow up ammunition inside the base. Start fires. That's one. Another one: burn aircraft on airbase.
Okay.
In parentheses, sabotage.
Smart.
It's 7. So it was 5, 6, 7. 3 and 4, 1, 2. They're all missing. But so this one is lob mortar shells from outside of base into base. Some damage to installations.
Okay.
Capture assault teams approaching from the sea and or vicinity of Guantanamo Bay. Okay.
Smart.
Capture the militia group which storms the base. Sabotage ship in harbor. Large fires.
Large fires.
Large
Not just
fires.
Like large.
Then
ones.
naphthalene is what it says. So sink ship near harbor entrance. Conduct funerals for mock victims.
Ooh,
interesting.
That's
May-
an important piece of info there.
It says maybe in lieu of, in parentheses, 10.
Okay. So
I
they're
think-
already planning fake funerals.
Yeah. A Remember the Maine incident could be arranged in several forms. We could blow up the U.S. ship in Guantanamo Bay and blame Cuba. We could blow up a drone, unmanned, a vessel anywhere in the Cuban waters. We could arrange to cause such an incident in the vicinity of Havana and Santiago as a spectacular result of Cuban attack from the air or sea or both.
Or both.
Either, it doesn't even matter.
Or both.
The presence of the Cuban planes or ships merely investigating the intent of the vessel could be fairly compelling evidence that the ship was taken under attack. All right, so there's like, oh, the Cubans might come out and see if we're okay, but we could use the fact that they're there to say that they did it, basically.
Okay.
What else we got here? A Cuban-based Castro-supported filibuster could be simulated against a neighboring Caribbean nation in the vein of the 14th of June invasion of the Dominican Republic. Something like that.
Okay.
Let's see. This is the last one. Use of MiG-type aircraft by U.S. pilots could provide additional provocation, harassment of civil air, attacks on surface shipping, and destruction of the U.S. drone aircraft by MiG type planes. They would be used as complementary actions.
That's a fucking
I don't know.
mouthful.
Basically, they're just like, all right, let's just blow up our own shit over their country and say they did it, basically.
Yeah.
And they're talking about mock funerals.
Yeah, see, that's a big one for
See,
me.
that's something I missed when I was reading over this.
They're they're willing to go that extra mile and like pay the money and put on the show just to sell the idea here for Operation Northwoods.
Conduct funerals for mock victims.
So
Now, my favorite part is large fires.
Yeah, just large. Like, no explanation.
Large fires, naphthalene.
Chaos.
They're not quite extra large fires or uncontrollable. They're just large,
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
semicolon. Large fires.
Just in case you needed some, you know? Yeah, death fire.
Death.
But Operation Northwoods really is to me it's sort of the inception of the mistrust of the government when it comes to military intervention or even like political lawmaking, you know, when things happen. So this raises the question, and this is sort of just, I mean, it's 100% speculative. What other things do you think we've witnessed or been privy to in this world that are false flag operations or done with a certain intent to get a result that they were looking for?
Let's see. Well, Mitch says AIDS.
Oh, okay.
Then we all know that was made by the CIA and introduced.
I know he's
Craig.
right. He's right.
Yeah.
I would.
No,
lump,
it's not a joke. It's that happened.
I would lump those two together. I would say crack and AIDS, because
Crades.
I don't care what anyone.
False flags, but
But yeah,
Yeah, I
I
mean-
get what Mitch is saying. They're not technically false flags, but they're
There's some
They-
shit that we did that it's like, oh God.
right. Like they fall under that umbrella of doing something questionable in secret in order to get a result that you want for you personally,
Yeah.
or for a small group of individuals.
I don't know, like, if this is documented anywhere, but I have a memory of like someone telling me, or like I read somewhere. I don't know. I think it was like the CIA like molded modern art by
Really?
by funneling money to certain artists that they thought would would kind of change the course of artistry as it is. Like I think it was in like the 50s and 60s. Like they to combat communism. There we go. So they would that's what Mitch said. They would like fund these certain artists to become like rise through the ranks and like become great with the ranks of artistry. But still, they like basically made art what it is today.
That makes sense, though. I mean, I see like where that would come from.
Yeah, and I feel like Warhol's probably a good example of it. It's like he's literally doing like branded shit in his art.
Product
It's like,
placement.
you know.
Product placement. You
I
got to
know.
pay for that shit now. That ain't free.
I kicked you. Sorry about
Hey,
that.
that's all right.
Sometimes I kick Grant.
It's just okay. It's just okay. But yeah, I mean, this is. I mean, obviously, we've talked about this in we have like a shit ton of episodes. We've probably talked about this,
It
and
was like 158 or 7 or some shit.
I'm sure this has come up in about 130 of them. You can't trust the government.
Well, no, that's kind of understood.
But yeah, this.
I think they know that.
I mean, yeah. It's,
They know everyone thinks that, but they're just like, well, what are you going to do?
yeah, so we got AIDS and crack. They could both fall under that category of like. I mean, yeah, they're not by definition a false flag.
AIDS, crack, art, everything.
But, oh yeah, I forgot art. I forgot art.
Maybe. I
Crack
don't
art.
even know if that's true, but
Crackered AIDS.
crackered AIDS.
Yeah. But they all sort of revolve around that. I'm sure, and I don't have any examples of this, but I'm 100% certain that they would manipulate like other forms of media, like music and movies, as well to get certain points across. You know.
Well, yeah, I mean, like, the propaganda has been a thing forever.
Yeah, we're a big propaganda machine in this country. There's no denying that.
We were just talking about Uncle Sam and how we need a new one. Mitch wants it to be the Coca-Cola bear.
Yeah, I'd be. Cool
I think
with
it's
that.
a good idea.
It's very like, I mean, yeah, it's a polar bear, but it's like very non-threatening.
Yeah, and it's our shit. It's Coca-Cola. Come on.
And yeah, it's just fun. Like everybody, who could look at that fucking giant bear and think anything
And-
but just happiness?
Yeah. How could you deny him when he asked you to join the army?
He's like, come on, help me protect the ice caps.
It's like, hey, maybe how would you go to war? Maybe I can afford a bottle opener
Yeah, you never know.
for my kids that I can feed this Coca-Cola to.
But that, yeah. So these are false flag operations, and it's
I think it's probably pretty clear at this point what a false flag operation is.
yeah. I mean, I think you guys understand, and I hope you get why we did this episode because. Obviously, it's a great follow-up to Vegas because it ties into what Vegas could
Yeah,
have
we've
been.
kind of had time to marinate on that. I hope all of you have too.
Oh, yeah.
If you're coming in to this one before listening to that, I don't know, man. You
Go back.
probably just go back.
Go back,
You did it
'cause
wrong, kid.
This one really has to tie into that
You have
one.
to marinate.
But in the next coming probably in the next couple weeks or two, I don't know.
Yeah.
We're gonna be sticking in a similar route, and I think you'll understand why we did this one in the middle.
Similar vein.
Because everything is sort of connected, and it's all connected by this idea of the narrative that comes out post this event is fishy. And I know you could say that about almost everything, but in these specifically, it feels like the fishiness has a very strong impact.
This is some pungent trout.
Yeah. There's no better way to put that. Thank
you.
It's just fucking brutal and it's weird, but I think it's important to know that the government, when it comes down to it, they're not afraid to let their own people die or suffer for what they deem to be the greater good.
Oh, yeah. And, people, all the countries and things razzing us for all our shootings, school shootings, mass shootings. That's just a cheap shot.
Yeah, and it's just interesting because, like I said, there's no way to prove any of these have, premeditation on them.
And that's by design.
But, yeah, it raises some questions. And it's like, you can come up with your own opinion. Tell us if you guys think that these are legitimate causes or cases of somebody manipulating things either before or after so that the narrative would go in one way.
Whether the situation was put into place by the people, by the false flagman. The false flagman. Whether or not the thing was going to happen anyway, or whether they put it in there, what do you think happened?
Yeah.
Because, it's a high possibility that we take advantage of a lot of crazy, depressing shit.
Oh, yeah. And that's just the beginning, because we're going to do that again next week.
No, it's true. It's never going to stop, just like in the real world.
Yeah, it just keeps on chugging, man.
Yeah.
It just keeps on moving.
Just like us. We came back for another episode.
Hell
you talking
yeah.
about that? Come on.
You guys
And you
didn't
came back
believe
to
it.
listen?
Even on April Fool's
Amazing.
Day. You didn't believe us, but we knew we were coming.
Yeah. And if anyone gets mad at anything we've said in this episode, it's April Fool. April Fools. It's a joke.
And if you loved it, not April Fool's.
Yeah.
And if you hated it, then fucking sorry.
Aren't I the April Fool?
But I think that's pretty much the episode.
Probably a little shorter on this one, but you know what? We went a little longer last time. So you know it all evens out. Nature has a way of evening out.
Yeah, and realistically, this, in all original intent, this was supposed to be in an addition to the Vegas episode, but it just, once that research started flowing, it was way too much.
Yeah.
And we couldn't switch narratives mid-episode to give you this. So
Yeah, just after an hour and 40 minutes, we're like, okay, now we're going to talk about Operation Northwoods now.
exactly, yeah. So it's like this was a good little respite there. You get to take a break,
Yeah.
take a deep breath, and be like, okay, it's still going, but it's a little bit lighter, a little bit different.
Yeah, you got a week, and now you got another week coming at you to get ready.
Yeah, to get yourself ready for a hot new one, but you know where we're going and you know where we're coming from.
Yeah, just like mass shootings in America, we happen every week.
That's true. But that's officially our episode for the week. So I
Yeah, I
hope you
think
guys
so.
loved it. Have a great month of March. And, we'll be back in a week, but just have a good month in general.
No,
it's
it's true.
April. Fuck, it's not March.
Oh, my God.
Good Lord, I messed that up so bad.
April Fools.
But anyways, we love you guys, and have a good one.
No, it's true. We are starting a cult that's great. I'm Jake. Mitch was here. He was giving us a lot of good info. So start a cult at gmail. At email.com. Start a cult at gmail.com. And we're on Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, all that stuff. And we're on YouTube. Go like and subscribe. And I'm working on the P.O. box. Going to get that this week probably. Not the PTO box, which I need. What else? There's a Patreon link below. And we'll be back on Thursday for an episode of that.
Oh, yes, we will.
All right, so it's coming up. We won't fuck it up this week.
I almost forgot.
Okay. Yeah, that's the end.
Goodbye.